Update. My mother, 54 female, didn't realize how much I helped out around the house until I moved out, and now she wants me back. Original post. I, 23 female, have a big family. I grew up living with 2 younger brothers, 1 younger sister, my grandparents, and my mom and dad. I'm significantly older than the other kids in my family, 8 years older than my brother John, the second oldest in the house. My parents never assigned chores to any of us growing up, but I helped out around the house a lot. I've just always been very clean and organized, and I never minded it. I was always cleaning, vacuuming, doing dishes, helping cook, doing the family's laundry, etc. Nobody forced this role on me, but nobody really appreciated it or thanked me either. Again, I didn't really mind. I was just being a dutiful daughter and a responsible person. I lived at home through college. I grew up in my college town, so I just commuted. A few months ago, however, I decided that I had saved enough money and got an apartment with some of my college friends. Apparently, since I moved out, our family situation has become chaotic, and my mom feels overwhelmed. No one helps her at all with any chores. She basically told me that she had no idea how much I was helping out around the house until I moved out. Because I was always doing stuff without being asked, she didn't really know who was keeping everything clean and just assumed it was a joint effort from the whole family. Now that nobody is around to silently look after everyone, everything is a mess. Everyone in my home has developed a string of messy bad habits because somebody else was taking care of them all the time. She said it's my responsibility that no one in the family has learned to properly take care of themselves growing up and wants me to move back home. I don't know if I should do it. I guess growing up, especially with my younger siblings, I was just always the default babysitter. I was used to taking care of them, so even when they got to the age where they were old enough to take care of themselves, I was too far into the habit. I don't know how me moving back home will totally fix that though, but I do feel a little responsible. Now for the top comments before reading the update. She said it's my responsibility that no one in the family has learned to properly take care of themselves growing up. That's crazy. That was her responsibility. She just wants your free labor. That made me laugh out loud. Seriously? That takes some serious nerve to get onto someone for being a responsible kid by telling them they screwed everyone else over for doing things that everyone else should have been doing anyway. Wow. Check out r/raised by narcissists. Your story would fit right in there. A lot of people have recommended this sub to me, so I finally checked it out. And boy, do things make a lot more sense to me now. When I realized that my friend and roommate was a narcissist, the whole world changed. It's shocking to have that revelation. I spent a few months processing everything. Things that I had ignored, justified, or just missed suddenly jumped out at me and flipped my "oh crap" switch. Since this is your mom, I'm guessing it will take more than a few months to deal with the implications. Here's my 2 cents. Find some people you can talk to about it, who can hear your story and really get what you're saying. Maybe a therapist. Whatever works. You're going to be looking back and going, "Oh my god, WTF," a lot, and it's good to say the crazy stuff out loud. Most importantly, make sure not to kick yourself for not seeing it sooner. It happens to the best of us. Nothing about the way you were in the relationship says anything bad about you. You grew up a responsible, considerate person. Well done. Now for the update. I was kind of surprised by how much everyone's response to my mother was a resounding no. It made me feel silly for even considering it. There was really no benefit to continuing to enable my mom and move back home. Well, Reddit, I'm sad to say that turning my mom down was the first time I had ever really stood up to her, and it did not go well. She instantly started guilt-tripping me, how she had raised me, how family was everything, how I was being selfish and abandoning her. When that didn't work, her insults turned more aggressive. She said I owed her money, the money it cost to raise me, to put me through college. My parents paid partial tuition, the accumulation of rent for letting me live at home during college, which we had never discussed, etc., etc. Again, she pressed that I was taking advantage of the family by not moving back home and helping out. I don't want to get into much detail because I am still very, very sad about how this has turned out, but my mom hasn't responded to my calls in weeks. She's turned the whole family against me, telling my siblings that I did something ambiguously terrible, and am abandoning the family. I had a phone conversation with my sister Rachel, who said something along the lines of, "Mom said you did something really mean to her. She won't tell us what, but she said that's why she made you move out." I've never been really close to my siblings, but I'm kind of taken aback by how little anyone seems to care that I'm gone. Recently, my mom put up a picture on Facebook of the whole family, with me absent, captioned, "The only people in my life I'll ever need." I'm trying to focus on my work and my friends to get through this, but I am in a very sad place right now. First of all, quit calling mom. All you're doing is making her feel better by allowing her to give you the silent treatment. Stop doing that and go about living your life. Heck, unfollow her on Facebook so you don't have to see any of the stuff she posts. If any of your siblings call again, ask if they notice how filthy the house has gotten since you left. Tell them you were the one keeping the house clean. And mom's mad because you refuse to come back home and play servant. If they get pissy too, block their numbers and carry on with your life. Things will cool down in a few months, and you can re-establish a relationship with your family on your terms. I swear if you quit calling your mom, she'll start calling you again. Right now, she loves that she's punishing you. She feels justified in making you feel bad. Just remember that. She thinks she has the right to make you feel terrible. It literally never occurred to me until now that she's ignoring me because she likes that I'm still reaching out and suffering. Well, I'm done now. I'm honestly so shocked still how much my mom seems to enjoy my guilt. She's going through an extinction burst, stepping up the behaviors that have worked in the past in order to make you bend to her will. Stay strong. When you doubt yourself, just remember that your mother doesn't care about you. She cares about what you can do for her. If she remotely cared about you, she wouldn't be acting this way. Thank you for this perspective. I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm no longer going to reinforce her behavior, and I'm going to stop contacting her. I get the feeling that she likes that I'm struggling to reach out to her and wants to make me suffer. Yeah, give her space and time to see what she's sown here. And give yourself some time to process and relax. Now that you aren't cleaning up after an entire family, you've probably got a bit more time for yourself. Don't give up on your siblings though. They need to hear your side of the story too. And they will go through this BS next when they leave the nest. Next story. A narcissistic parent will always care more about how you affect their reputation than actually having a relationship with you. Realizing that, I'm finally ready to tie up my loose ends and walk away from my covert narc dad and overt narc stepmom. On Mother's Day, I found out from my grandma that my brother was commissioning in the army the day after and that I'd heard nothing. Then it hit me that things like this had been going on for the past decade, and they'd been saying it was my fault for not engaging with the family. That was followed by this rush of memories, like the stepmom saying to wear my bridesmaid dress to prom, or telling me to change out of my shorts because it would tempt my brother to sin. Memories of my dad saying that if I made too much fuss about his remarriage, he'd choose her and walk away. Memories of going to family counseling that was actually used to browbeat me back into line, all before I was even out of high school. It took 7 years of being consistently infantilized and invalidated to realize I needed to leave. A year of interference-free therapy to fully understand it as abuse, and a year more to decide on no contact. Today I'm dropping the bomb that I'm in town to get the last of my things, which had already been asked for multiple times. My mom is going to see if a friend of hers on the police force can help if worst comes to worst. Regardless of the outcome, I'm cutting contact. I'm kind of scared because it's a big step, and there's a lot of work I still need to do, but I'm closing this chapter on my terms. Wish me luck, guys. If you want to get your stuff, it might be a good idea to tell him that you are really sorry for cluttering up his home with your things, and you don't want to burden him with them any longer. Tell him you are dropping by to pick them up, and invite him for lunch or dinner afterwards. Once you have your stuff in your car, is the time to tell him that you won't be seeing him again. I definitely agree with the last bit, but one of his favorite games is to make someone ask multiple times and throw out the nagging card. I'll definitely give him points for predictability. Yeah, with my mom, it was more her reputation as a parent. She once ignored me for 4 days because I talked to a doctor about my mental health. She said I lowered her reputation as a parent to the doctor. I was 14. My mom stopped my treatment because the doctor didn't let her claim I'm acting sick for attention. He even told her that my physical illness is due to psychological issues, and it's not stress from school. She felt threatened that someone saw through her. We left his office that day and never went back again. She yelled at me all the way home and kept humiliating me. Then, when we were in Grandma's neighborhood, she bought me ice cream and we went in for a visit while she said it was a mother-daughter day out. That's so relatable. For me, the issue was that we don't live near family or friends. My dad and sister were out of town, and it was just me and my mom home alone for a week. It just enabled her to ignore me for longer. Even the hour-long car rides on the way to and from school, during those, she would glare at me sometimes and breathe heavily. She wanted to obviously imply that she was still mad. And my mom has absolutely accused me of faking mental illness before. When I was in early high school, I told my mom that I thought I might be depressed, something that she caused, and she just made me feel like crap about it. I made a vow to myself that day that I would never talk about my problems to my mom again. This is always what I try to explain to people, especially since I come from a wealthy family. I'm in a similar position. My family is so freaking toxic and more. If I explain it, it'll take years. I've never been to therapy or anything because I don't think I need it. Like, yes, I'm depressed and stuff, but I know 100% what's the cause. It's them. So to me, it's like, why go talk to somebody about it? It's not going to fix the situation. The only way for me to get better is to get rid of the problem. I'm 17 and literally all I've been hoping for since before I was even a teenager is to move out. Thank God I have 1 year of high school left. As soon as I get my diploma, I'm out of here and cutting all contact. I'm glad you made that decision. Please always do what's best for you and put yourself first. Because I've spent all my life putting everyone else first, and it's freaking horrible. I hope everything gets better for you, and that you'll finally be free and at peace. Now for the mini update. It's all done, and you all are amazing. I wouldn't have even thought this possible if not for seeing others in this community taking the leap and actually being able to love and enjoy life. Thank you so much for the kind words and gilding. Those of you still in the thick of it with your narcissists, you're strong and never as alone as you think. Much love. Last story. My parents left me at boarding school, and I'm starting to think I'll never forgive them. My parents pressured me into applying to a very selective boarding school while I was in high school. They threatened to send me to an all-girls Catholic school away from my friends if I didn't apply. I never thought I'd get in, so I submitted the application, thinking that getting a rejection would end their threats. This was almost 4 years ago. I got into this school about a week after submitting my application. My parents told me I had to go for 2 weeks, and if I didn't like it, I could come home. By the end of the 5th day, I called them and said I wanted to come home. They said I had to wait the full 2 weeks. I waited the full 2 weeks, thinking that they had a scheduling issue or something that prohibited me from going home sooner. The day I was supposed to be picked up, they called me and told me that I was staying until graduation. I cried every day for 2 years, up until I graduated out. Meanwhile, my family moved on, got a puppy to replace me, literally got her 2 days after I left, and proceeded to lie and tell everyone around them that I loved it there and was staying of my own choice. My friends tried to confront them on this, but my mom made it very clear I wasn't welcome home. This was a school for the profoundly gifted. I wasn't a bad kid. It's been almost 4 years since they decided to keep me there. I'm now in college, and being home is so hard because I don't think I can ever forgive them. I try, but I come back to the same thing over and over. They took my home away from me. I came back, and everything was different. 2 years had passed. My friends had moved on. My own family had moved on. I try to be nice about it. I try to understand their perspective. But I also know I was so depressed there and I hated it so much. And they knew all of this, and still did it. And I don't think I'll ever understand how someone could do that to their child. I was 15. I couldn't even drive yet. I'd never been to prom. I was a kid. And so I question if I will ever forgive them, or if I am destined to be quietly angry about this for the rest of my life. Don't be quietly angry. Tell your biologicals how angry you are and follow up by cutting them out. Graduating from college? Don't tell them. Getting married? Don't invite them. They get mad? Remind them how they shipped you off and forgot about you. Now you're returning the favor. I can't. I have little siblings and dogs that I really don't think I could part with. My parents are the worst part of being home, but my siblings deserve to have their big sister. Aren't they also going to ship off your siblings? If not, what is the difference between you and them? They won't. To be honest, I'm not sure my siblings would get into this school with the level of scholarship my family needs. I was a fantastic candidate due to academics and several competitions I won while in middle and high school. None of my siblings are showing any inclination of even wanting to pursue the same field. Why would you forgive them? I'm not sure I understand. Exactly. You don't have to forgive them. They abandoned you. They literally got rid of you. Get rid of them back. Stop being a doormat. You're not a doormat when you're a kid. I know she's about 19, and you've been abused and abandoned. She's still holding on to hope. It's not her failing or doing anything wrong. It's the parents. Yes, she'll need to fight tooth and nail to unlearn a lot of behaviors and thought patterns, so she can protect herself and move on from her parents. But right now, she sounds like she's drowning and has been for a while. Calling her a doormat trivializes what she's experiencing. There are kinder ways to call out the issue. She's still young and needs guidance as to how this is a typical abuse scenario and how to get out of it. Sorry, I'm heated. This was something I was called when young after being emotionally abused into being a doormat people pleaser by my parents all my life. It didn't help me, but made me smaller, especially as I had no escape at the time. I don't want OP to feel even worse right now. OP, it sounds like therapy is the best thing you could do for yourself right now. You don't need to forgive right now. You're still in a situation with a lot of emotional turmoil. It's hard to forgive when the situation is still happening. Or you could forgive but not forget. Forgiveness and forgetting are two different things, even though it hasn't been taught that way. This will not last forever, but it definitely sounds like it sucks right now. Therapy really is the best solution right now. Colleges or universities usually have someone you can connect with.